How's the real estate market affecting your investment?
Real estate is not a commodity.
Don't join the crazy parade.
Welcome to Market Talk with your host, Bryon Roth, discussing today's real estate news, tips, and trends. Before I get into today's episode, I want to share with you a clip from the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, if you're not familiar with this completely crazy movie, it's actually the real-life memoirs of Jordan Belfort. He was a Wall Street stockbroker, and just a little bit about the movie. It recounts Belfont's perspective on his career as a stockbroker in New York City and how his firm, Stratton Oakmont, engaged in rampant corruption and fraud on Wall Street, which ultimately led to their downfall. Now, the movie takes you on a ride, and these folks are totally out of control, and you wonder, man, could this have really happened? But there's some good stuff in this movie that you can draw from, and one of them is this movie clip that I'm going to play a soundbite for you, and it's Belfont, who is the stockbroker played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's sitting in a restaurant with some of his associates, and all throughout the movie, the lead character is trying to make a point about sales and ask people to sell him a pen. And he has a pen held in his hand and he hands it to them. And so you see different ways people are trying their best. But in this clip, he's going to demonstrate how you sell this pen.
That's the attitude. You can sell anything. Sell me this pen right here. You can sell anything, sell that. Go ahead. Sell me that pen.
Can I finish eating first? I need tonight.
Brad, show him how it's done. Boom. Sell me that pen. Watch. Go on.
Let me sell this pen?
That's my boy right there.
This pen?
Sell anything.
Would you do me a favor? Why'd you name down that napkin for me?
I don't have a pen.
Exactly. Supply and demand, my friend.
When I first saw this movie clip, it reminded me about a time when I was young and I was going on a job interview for Huff Cook. Now, if you're not familiar with Huff Cook, it's actually burial insurance. So I was going in for a job to be a burial insurance salesman. And I was sitting across the desk from the manager who was interviewing me, and he looked at this stapler. He said, "Sell me that stapler." And I did the exact same thing most of the people in this movie did. I tried to bring out its features and benefits. If I had known about this and I'd seen this movie first, I would have created a need for the stapler, and I would ask that sales manager to staple some papers together for me, knowing he didn't have a stapler, and that would have been the correct answer. What I want to bring out of this is not so much about, how cool that scene was or that this guy, he really was smooth, but that he had that information in his head. This episode is going to be about having the skills and developing the skills that you need as a real estate agent. And there are a lot of people out there that will tell you to learn scripts. I'm not a big fan of scripts, and I'll tell you why. When you memorize a script, you're merely memorizing the words that you're going to say to a customer. You're not learning why you're following that particular train of thought. Here's an example of a situation where you may have interacted with someone using a script. Have you ever called a help desk for support for a computer or something that you were having trouble with, and you just know that they're reading a script? There's just something on the computer, maybe they typed in an issue and they're just spewing it back out. But when you get on the phone with the person who actually has the knowledge of how to fix whatever it is, let's say it's your computer, your laptop, you call them up, and first person, he's just typing in whatever, and then you get this woman on the phone who is the upper level support, and they're not typing in anything. They just know it off the top of their head. There's a Bible verse that says, "From out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks." And what this means is whatever you have inside you just naturally comes out. And so in this movie clip, the gentleman who was handed the pen, he just knew it. He wasn't using a script. He knew what he needed to do to create a situation where this gentleman needed what he had, supply and demand. With scripts, you're not learning. You're just spewing out. You're just regurgitating a script What I want to tell you about skills is learn them. Learn skills. You cannot replace education with a script. You want to learn and develop your skills naturally by doing things that are going to really make them set in. And so today I just want to review some of the skills that you should have as a real estate agent, and I'm going to go through a list, and then I'm just going to go over just a few of these in a little bit more detail. Starting at the top, communication and listening skills, time management skills, business planning skills, promotion and marketing skills, the mechanics of a transaction skills, your product and marketing, dedication to excellent service, self-discipline, good work ethic, control of attitude, healthy self-image, a positive attitude, a commitment to success, willingness to step outside of your comfort zone, and a desire to help others. So that's just a list of some of the skills and traits you should develop as a real estate professional. Now, I'm going to start at the bottom with a desire to help others, and let's just get this taken care of right away. If you've come into this business and you don't have a genuine desire to help others, I don't know how to teach that. Honestly, I don't know how you learn that. If you don't have it, you're probably in the wrong business, and you should honestly go somewhere that you're going to be able to utilize your skill set and be more productive and more successful. Communication and listening skills. Now, as a real estate professional, obviously communication is a huge deal, but even beyond that, your listening skills are critical to you developing trust with people and building relationships. And if you've listened to my other podcasts, I say it all the time, I'm not a salesperson. I just work on building relationships. And that's what you should focus on too, is building relationships with people. So your listening skills are going to help you to better understand your clients. Stephen Covey said in his book, 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Person, seek first to understand and then to be understood. If you're not listening to your client, you're going to miss something, and they're going to pick up on that, and it's going to come across as if you just don't care. Time management skills, that's just an obvious thing. You don't want your time to manage you. You want to manage your time. You want to be as productive as you can with your day. So you have to develop your time management skills. Now, some of these are character traits like self-discipline, good work ethic, control of your attitude. For those traits, you may need to dig a little deeper, get some self-help books. Man, you may need some counseling for some of them. If you have issues with healthy self-image or controlling your attitude, you certainly may need some professional help. A positive attitude, if you listen to some of my other podcasts, you've heard me talk about that, having a positive attitude, especially when things get tough, and not allowing your situations to control or dictate what you're doing or how you're doing it. Lastly, I just want to focus on your learning your product and your marketplace, becoming skilled and knowledgeable as far as what you're selling. At any given time, there's going to be hundreds, not thousands, of homes for sale in your area. And really, there's no way you can know the details about every single home. But what you can learn is the product itself. So if you're a residential real estate agent, your product is what? It's houses. When we talk about learning a product, we're referring to what goes into the construction of a home. Now, you don't need to know how to build a home, but it's going to be beneficial to learn about the materials that go into building it. In my classes, when I'm teaching new agents, I always talk about this. And one of the best ways to learn about materials that go into a home is to go where they're sold. Where are they sold? Hardware stores and building supply stores. And when you visit these stores, you're going to want to look at several different things. You're going to want to notice the price and familiarize yourself with the different products. So for instance, You're going to go into where they sell doors, interior doors, and you're going to notice the difference between a hollow core door, for instance, and a solid wood door. And look at the price and look at how they're made and the difference in how they're made. So when you do that and you go into a home to give a tour to a prospective buyer and you see that door, you're going to have insight into that door. You're going to know if it's a solid wood door that that's a quality door. And you're going to have an idea of what the price is. And you're going to do this with as many of the products and the building materials as you can. You're going to look at different types of trim. There's crown molding, there's chair rail molding, on and on. And not only that, there are subgroups inside of each of those. So there's a better product for crown molding. There's a better product for, each and every piece of material that goes in a home. So you're going to learn about the different types of molding. Right? You're going to learn about different types of windows. And so that way you're learning the product. And so when you walk through a house to show it, you're going to be knowledgeable about what makes up this house, about the hardwood floors or the laminate floors or the real tile floors. When you go into the bathroom, you're going to know about different fixtures. You're going to know about different types of sinks and tubs and how much it costs to install those, how much it can cost to purchase that stuff. And that knowledge is going to help you present yourself as someone who really knows what they're talking about when it comes to real estate, when it comes to purchasing or selling a home. You can also do this with the framing of the house. When it comes to frame, it's a good idea just to, you just want a general idea of what types of frames and what goes into them. And as you're showing a house, the buyer may ask you something like, what size walls, what size wood goes into these walls, and how far apart are the studs in the walls? And that's a good question to ask if you're thinking about, where you're going to hang a picture. And the good thing is that a lot of this stuff is standardized. And then another suggestion for learning the product is to learn architectural styles. As a real estate agent, you should be able to identify different architectural styles such as a ranch or Tudor or colonial. You don't want to be standing in a home and your client asks you, what style of home is this? And you're like, I don't know. To learn architectural styles, you can go to the bookstore and buy a book on it, or you can just look up websites that give this information. There are a lot of good websites that really break them down. And in regards to architectural styles, it's not a bad idea too to learn about the history of the home, because that's kind of a cool little tidbit, that you can really just share with your clients as you're walking through, about, what the history is, how it came about, why that design. And it just will really help you to stand above the crowd. Last, getting to know your market. Now, the best way to get to know your market is to get into your market. Take time to drive through neighborhoods. You can also walk a neighborhood. That's a really good way just to really get a good feel of an area. You want to pay attention to street names. Ditch the GPS before you go and just force your mind to learn how to get around without that assistance. You want to get to know the businesses in the area, parks, any event venues, nonprofits or government facilities in the area. Learn what annual events take place and what the area is known for, if anything. And then you can also learn the demographics of your market area. You can go to the U.S. Census website. They provide demographics, but also Realtor Property Resource, or RPR. If you're a member of the National Association of Realtors, you have access to this. And so if you go in there, you can get lots of demographics. What is the makeup of a neighborhood, average age, median home price, median salary range, what kind of family makeup is there? So it just goes on and on and on. And so it has a lot of good statistics that you could break down so you can get to know your market really well. Developing and learning new business skills is something that is going to be ongoing for you throughout your career. You need to be purposeful about this so that you can make yourself a better real estate professional. If you go to my website, markettalkweekly.com, and go to episodes, and out the bottom there is a document library. Now, you need to create a free account to get into this document library, but you can download the business skills and traits worksheet that I've created, and it will help you to go through your skills and traits, and it'll give you an option to choose whether each one is a strength or an opportunity for improvement. And then beside that, it says plan for improvement. So it'll help you to recognize what business traits and skills you need to work on, and then set a plan for working on them. Well, thanks for joining me for another episode of Market Talk Weekly. If you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss another episode of Market Talk.